What's up, y'all? I don't know who's all in here because I don't never go live like this early. But I wanted to have a conversation about like what's been happening. Shout out to Melissa Barron who has her channel and she does like breaking news and stuff. I was watching her. I was watching her channel one night when the Astro World um, thing happened. It was like late than a mug, but I was up and she was breaking the news, and I was like, "Yeah, I really enjoy this." But um, if you follow me on Instagram, I was going off on a tangent about a different topic, and then I was like, "I want to talk about this," but I didn't want to bore. Um, I didn't want to bore the people that follow me on Instagram, so I was like, "Let me come to YouTube and let's just talk about it." What's up, Eugene? How are you? I'm gonna drop the link just in case anybody wants to um call in and join the conversation with me. It's just this is definitely like spur of the moment. I don't have nothing planned. I don't This is not a planned thing. But I want to talk about the whole Oxford high school shooting. I don't know if you've heard about it, but I'll like recap it real quick. Let me dump this link real quick. Um, what's up if you're just joining? Um, so if you haven't heard, I'm sure you heard by now that there was a school shooting yesterday in Oxford, Michigan. It's not in Detroit. It's actually, they keep calling it Metro Detroit, but it's not even Metro Detroit, y'all. It's like a for real suburb. And apparently it's like a very small town. I've driven past it, not necessarily been all up and through it, but obviously you can imagine if it's a small town in a suburban area, it's not like likely highly populated with um, Black people or just people of color in general. What's up, Brittany? As you can tell, I am just super talkative today. So this is very not like me to be this chatty Kathy in the middle of the day, but it's happening. So we're going to just tap into it. Okay, so anyway, there was a school shooting that happened. Yeah, yes. There was a school shooting that happened yesterday, and apparently, like the kind of stats is like the Krabby Patty. What? Um, the police got to the school in 5 minutes. They were able to apprehend the shooter, arrest him with no problem. Apparently, at the time, they said that he killed 4 people, injured 8. One of the injured was a teacher, but most of them were students. And then he had 7, I think he had like 7 bullets still left in the gun. So yes, if you're just tuning in, there was a school shooting yesterday. And there's some developments which I want to talk about. I just want to talk about what's going on because yeah, I'm gonna get into it. So anyway, so then that happened. They did a really brief press conference like a couple hours after it happened, but they didn't have much information because it had just happened. So they were like, we'll do another press conference at 10 p.m. Eastern time. They did the press conference and they revealed that among the ones that were killed, the youngest I think was 14, 17, like I think it was like 16, but it was all students that died. As of today, yeah, 3 students died, then another one, so 4. So yes, another one died today, this morning. He was in critical condition. It was a 17-year-old boy that died this morning. Also, news came out today that the young man that shot these people in the school, um, the parents actually were at the school earlier in the day to talk to administrators regarding their son. So they were at the school the day before, and then they were at the school yesterday. So they had come to the building twice in relation to their son's behavior. So the news reports are saying that the parents were at the school around noon. The shooting happened around 2. So not even a couple hours after. And the gun that he used was purchased on Black Friday by his dad. So when they arrested him, they were like, yeah, he's not talking. The parents came to the police station, went to talked to their son, told him not to speak to the authorities, and then they left. They bounced. Got him a lawyer. He lawyered up, got him in a cell, and then they were like, we'll deal with him tomorrow in terms of like figuring out how to charge him. It's so crazy. It's wild. Okay, so I'm summarizing the story so I can get to like my reaction about it, y'all, because listen, it's crazy. So anyways, so they chose not, the parents weren't speaking to the cops, the student wasn't speaking to the cops. They did have a warrant to go through the house. They took a whole bunch of belongings. They also confiscated additional guns. They got his laptop, all of these things. Okay. So this morning, they ended up releasing the name of the shooter. His name is Ethan Crumbley. So he is 15 years old, y'all. 15 years old. No, for real. Like I'm like, you can hear it in my voice. Like I got so much to say about it. So anyways, he's 15 years old. And they released his name this morning, and then they also revealed that they will be charging him as an adult. Okay. As he should be. I'm trying to see. So it says his father purchased the 9mm Sig Sauer. I'm not a big gun person, so I don't know what that is. Maybe y'all do. Just 4 days earlier. It says Crumbley, the 15-year-old, has been charged as an adult with murder, terrorism, assault, and weapons possession charges. Okay, join me, Darrell. Come on, hop on. Let me drop the link again because I really want to talk about this. And I can't believe I got something to do in like less than an hour, but we're flexible. So if you want to call in, we can talk about it. But so anyway, so before all of this new stuff was released, I was doing some research last night because obviously, you know, high schoolers, they are all up and through social media, right? They are on TikTok, and there's a video actually that I should play for y'all. I think I'm going to try to find it and play it for y'all. But basically, people were actually recording. They thought it was a drill, y'all, because unfortunately, schools are conditioned to basically prep for things like this. Instead of having metal detectors, they would rather practice dropping to the floor and taking cover. I mean, they can do that too, but why not have metal detectors? But we'll get to that in a minute. So I'm gonna play this video real quick. Gotta get back to it. All right. Okay, let me share this so y'all can see the here we go. All right, let me start it over.
Yeah, you gotta save the come on.
Now we're not willing to take that risk right now.
I can't hear you.
We're not taking that risk right now.
Okay, well, come to the door. Look at my bag, bro.
No. Yeah, bro.
He said bro.
He said bro. Red flag.
Hold on, you're fine.
Okay, so I'll probably share that video again at a certain point, but that video was released and people were like, we thought it was a drill, and until so that apparently was the shooter outside the door telling them to open up the door, and they were about to, you saw a baby girl like get up, like she was finna go to the door, but then he said bro, and they were like, oh no, a cop will not say open the door, bro. So the shooter gave himself away. But that was like I think that was one of the best videos that I saw. Of course, there were like other videos, but I think that was the only one that I found that I was like, yo, this is crazy. So, anyways, what are you guys saying? This is a normal situation in America right now. I ain't phased one bit by these type of situations anymore. Right. Not phased. So as I'm going through TikTok, I'm going through Snapchat, and I'm actually like looking, y'all know I'm nosy. Okay. So I'm going through TikTok and Snapchat, and I come across a student's, TikTok, and it was a girl who actually, hey Bolo. It was a girl who actually was like in one of the rooms where he first shot through or whatever. And so she's obviously visibly shaken up. And she said, I'm just coming on here. I'm probably going to delete this later, but I'm really trying not to talk in her voice, but it's so hard, y'all, because you know how to be talking. She was like, I really feel like you guys need to stop blaming the school. They did everything right. We did practically everything right. And I'm getting sick of people saying we just need to have metal detectors. And I'm like, okay, where's the outrage for the metal detectors that have been all up and through the hood for years? Okay, my high school had metal detectors. But now all of a sudden, non-melanated people are up in arms about people suggesting having metal detectors in their school buildings. Let's run the receipts, y'all. These school shootings are not happening in the hood. Not happening in the hood at all. But that really like grinded my gears. And then so that was like the one. See, that's what I'm saying. Metal detectors are not a terrible thing. It's not like you're gonna walk through a metal detector and all of a sudden you're gonna have cancer or something like that. Like it's not a deterrent to like your health. Okay, it's for your safety. If people don't want to regulate laws around guns, okay, let's be proactive and get metal detectors. Period. So anyways, look at that. We'll let them savage in themselves in that fashion then. Well, listen. So, okay, we got the metal detectors thing, okay? Oh, listen, they got them at the airport. What's the issue? Well, people, let's be clear. People be hating on TSA every day, okay? Every day. So anyway, so that was my first gripe with the whole thing, was like this whole idea about people being against metal detectors is not a big deal. It's more about your safety, less about how you feel. These same people that's tripping about having metal detectors are the same people that's tripping about having masks in school. Obviously, masks are still needed, but we're not finna get into that. The second piece of thing that kind of like really got to me was this fact that they automatically, before the person who was shooting up the school, before anything got out, the narrative was bullying. Oh, he must have been bullied. Oh, mental health. Oh, no. How about he just needed his ass beat? Period. Like, you just got a bad kid. Like, I'm not trying to down mental health, and I'm not trying to down the fact that bullying exists, because it absolutely does, right? This is exactly what happened. Metal detector. Exactly. But like this whole idea of like the moment it's a non-melanated individual that is making these, that is accused of such things, we're automatically jumping to mental health. We're jumping to they're bullied. They had a reason for it. There's never a reason to shoot up kids, period. Now, a nice little tussle, scuffle, punch in the mouth, absolutely. If you start talking slick, we gonna deal with it. But y'all, so I just had to come on here and talk to the real ones, because I know YouTube, y'all are very opinionated. Okay. So I had to come on here and give y'all the rundown. Like it's becoming national news, but when it actually happened, it was not national news. It was very local, and I only knew about it because I think my mom was watching it on her phone, and I overheard it. And I'm like doing a Google search, like shooting. Nothing came up. I went to search Detroit news outlets, and then it came up, right? It only became national news once the details about who died came up. And I'm recalling like an interview that they interview a parent, or I think it might have been I think it was one of the congresswomen from the actual county or something. Somebody during a press conference. I ain't gonna, don't get me to lying. She was like, we hoped and we prayed that it wouldn't be us, that it would not, the school shootings would not come to our community, but it did. And I'm like, girl, it can happen in a movie theater, in your hood, in the suburbs. Like, what? Why were the parents there? What did he do before this happened? So, if y'all are just tuning in, she's asking, why did it why were the parents there earlier? I mentioned that news sources came out today, like developing news came out today, that the boys' parents were actually at the school Monday and earlier that day on Tuesday. They did not say why they were there outside of to address behavior issues. They said that they are holding some of that close to their chest because of investigation purposes. Who knows? I'm always very leery of small communities like that. I watch too many crime shows. I watch too many movies about corrupt police departments, especially if it's in the small community where the chief used to go to high school with the mama. And think about the Ahmaud Arbery case, right? Apparently, one of the people involved used to be kind of like a cop. And because of that, they did not treat Travis McMichael, or I forget what his dad's name was, as suspects. Or, they didn't investigate him thoroughly because of his connection with the police department. So I am always like looking with a magnifying glass, like, small community, how close are we to the police department? Especially if it's people living in the community that have lived there for very long periods of time. Then you actually know people. You make friends with the sheriff, you make friends with the doctor, the pediatrician. It's not what you know, it's who you know. I watch a lot of documentaries too, crime documentaries. And a fun fact about me is I follow court cases. I follow trials. So that first started for me when I was about 9-10. I was not even like a full-blown teenager. I started watching Court TV when Court TV would show trials like 24/7. You could just turn on Court TV and you can watch trials. I was like addicted to watching the Ray Caruth trial. I don't know if y'all remember Ray Caruth. He played for the Panthers, football player. I think it was the Panthers. But he killed his girlfriend. Well, he hired somebody to kill his girlfriend, and he tried to flee, and they found him in the trunk with PE and all this stuff. Y'all remember that? Okay, maybe not. But I remember watching that. Listen, y'all can't put nothing past me. I'm trying to tell y'all, I am a detective. They just ain't gave me my uniform yet. But anyways, I was like obsessed with that trial, and I would like print out stuff, and I had me a little manila folder, and I was just like all in. And I just can't believe my mama let me watch this trial at such a young age, but I was all in. So ever since then I was hooked. So I did watch the Ahmaud Arbery trial, like from the beginning to the end. I'm probably going to be invested in this, mainly because people are attributing this to the Kyle Rittenhouse effect. That people like that outcome, and I know it's two completely different things, y'all. We're not finna get into the specifics of that. I don't know that I care enough to talk details about that case, but but I will say that because of his age, because of his access to guns, it's kind of giving people a like green light to go around and shoot people, period. I'm just gonna say it real frank. Like, so I've just been doing a lot of readings of articles, tweets, all that stuff about this. I'm interested to hear perhaps what the motive was, if it ever comes out. The kid seems pretty tight-lipped about it. So I don't know. I really don't know. But if y'all want to call in, let me know and discuss, ask questions. I'm more than happy to stay on for a minute. But I wanted to just talk about it and get it out because I don't think there's anybody that cares enough to talk about it. But I'm not one to try to make it about race, but it is definitely very telling how these school shooters are mostly not melanated. And because they are not, they are often treated in a very delicate manner when they are arrested. Okay. They said that they had no resistance, like it was easy to arrest him and blah blah blah. But did I watch the Casey Anthony trial a little bit? No, I wasn't really too invested in that. Everybody able. Oh, every able body get you a legal weapon, learn how to use it. Listen, what's up?
Hey Lauren, how you doing?
Man, I'm good. The very person that I think is better poised to talk about this. You're like close to it. I mean, I know, like I just mentioned at the beginning of this, like it was nowhere near Detroit, but gotta love the news. They want to always tag Detroit on the stuff and be like Metro Detroit, and it's like, yo,
Yeah, the shooting was absolutely crazy. I'm up in East Lansing right now. It was in Oxford, Michigan, right?
yep,
Yeah, the shooting was absolutely crazy. I was actually pulling some stuff together to do a small video about it because it was sad. It was real sad to see, to be honest. So what
yeah.
have you covered so far?
Yeah, I just kind of gave like a synopsis of like what happened. I didn't show too many articles. I just showed the video of the student in the room when the kid was knocking on the door posing as a cop. And I just basically talked about the fact that he didn't want to talk to the cops. And
Hmm.
they did raid his home and they collected some items.
They found
Um,
the guns. Yep.
yep. And they found out that his parents were actually up at the school yesterday on Monday and a couple hours before the shooting took place on Tuesday yesterday for quote unquote behavior issues or
Hmm.
behavior concerns, but they didn't provide any details after that. But one thing I said earlier was like this whole idea of before they even mention homeboy's name, they were already jumping to, oh, he was probably bullied or mental health. And it's just like, no, he just need his ass kicked. Like, what? Like, let's not jump to that and give this man no excuses or boy, because he's 15.
Right. You know, I'm gonna try to be politically correct because my channel is not your channel, right? Your channel is different, right?
Be yourself. Be yourself.
You know,
People love about you. I love about you.
I appreciate it. I actually do. I think to your comment, of course they do that because he's white, right? If he was black, it'd be the thug comments, the gang comments, the drug comments, whether he was using or selling. Those are usually how that goes. I think the worst part about this whole situation is the victims, obviously, because like parents shouldn't have to bury their own children. That's like that's the
Yeah.
one thing for me that I always had to take pause to because I have children. So I couldn't imagine sending my kids out and they didn't come back home to me. You know, the kind of person that I am, I would want mob justice. That's just me
My-
personally.
Mhm. You and there, I think you and in any other black father that is really invested in their kids, because I can't say that about every parent, but for sure,
Hmm.
it's that's the second time I've heard that in 24 hours from a black man.
Yeah, it's just it's kind of it's disrespectful because we know eventually the system is going to protect this person. this person, like Lady TJ says, is going to be given the benefit of the doubt, which is always the thing that they're given, and what
The-
black men are always withheld from the
yeah.
benefit of the doubt. It's just something that I just find crazy. That's why I wanted to hop on here and kick it with you about it because I just don't know, man. I hope that this isn't something that's going to take a very bad political, like, you know how, like, what's that phrase? Slippery slope. This could
Yeah.
have a very dark, slippery slope.
Oh,
And that's
definitely.
something that I'm worried about from a political standpoint in our state of Michigan, because between the Kyle Rittenhouse stuff and this, and some people are even saying that this was motivated by Kyle Rittenhouse.
Right. They're calling it the Kyle Rittenhouse effect.
Yes, 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 they are, and I agree. And I was like, how would you, as a citizen of Michigan, move forward as far as um
Well, I'm gonna
our
be
leadership, our the senators, the councilmen? These are the people that really we got to talk to immediately.
and I'm gonna be real frank with you because I lived in Grand Rapids for over 10 years.
Okay,
Very different from Detroit.
the
Very
best part of Michigan.
right. Very conservative, very Trump nation, very
Hmm.
we like you know what I'm trying to say. So I
Hmm.
think and there's more communities in Michigan like that than people believe. When people think Michigan, they just automatically think Detroit. And there's way more small towns such as Oxford. There's way more, and Grand Rapids is not a small city, but it's smaller than Detroit, but it has a big feel in essence. But the people have the same mentality as the people living in Oxford, in my opinion. And people can debate that, argue that, whatever. So to your point, I do wonder what the political pushback or political conversation will be. I'm pretty sure it's definitely going to be gun control. Obviously is going to be one, but then this whole back and forth about what needs to be in schools. They said they had a officer assigned to the school, like daily in general. Like there's an officer that's his assignment to be in the school, but it's not necessarily for
Something
um
like this.
yeah. You would know this. Is Detroit an open carry city? I think you meant to say, or is Michigan an open carry state?
Yes, yes, it is.
Hmm. I also want to highlight this comment. The news just said his parents may be charged as well, which I find very interesting because Kyle Rittenhouse's mom wasn't charged for driving him across state lines with a weapon.
Different state, different rules. I'm not really sure how the state works, and sorry, I'm not sure how the law works in those states. But in Michigan, if a child, because I understand that his father and his parents was responsible for him even having a weapon,
Mhm.
regardless, like they bought the weapon themselves
On Black
because
Friday, can you believe that?
they bought it on Black Friday.
They hadn't had the thing on gun for 5 days. He bought it 4 days ago on Black Friday.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me. Buying guns is like, it's easier to get a gun here than for some people to get a house. It's very easy to get weapons here in Michigan. Um, with that being said, but yes, the person who buys the weapon has to secure the weapon. If you fail to secure the weapon and then somebody commit a crime with that weapon, you're pretty much going down for it. It's like if you're riding with somebody and they got drugs in the car, but it's your car and it's like the title and the license and the insurance in your name, you're going down. It doesn't matter if the scale and the drugs are mine. We're both going down. That's kind of how it works here in Michigan, from my understanding and experiences.
So yeah, I don't know nothing about gun law, so I'm really glad you joined because I don't own one. I probably should, but we're not gonna get into that. That's a conversation for another day.
I think that's something that should be discussed. More people owning firearms and having the ability to protect themselves, because in situations like this happen far too often. I think that a conversation I tried to have years ago was that teachers should be teachers should have the option, not
To
just not
themselves,
forced. Yes, the option to want to protect themselves, because how many times have this happened over and over and over, and then a teacher has to be told your life basically doesn't matter. The dignity of our, like, our morals. I can't justify it because I don't move like that. You get what I'm saying? I'll put
Yeah.
the gun in their head. Yeah, teach the kids and protect yourselves. That if it was me, I think that type of mentality would it would deter a lot of people who are trying to be gunmen when it comes to school shootings, in my opinion.
So since you are a gun owner, I have a question for you, and I hope it's okay for me to ask. Do you feel like there needs to be more assessment when it comes to like a mental health assessment when purchasing guns?
I
Or
mean,
and if so, how do you think they should go about it?
to answer the mental health part, yes, mental health should be always taken into accountability when it comes to people owning weapons. However, in Michigan, as I stated, let's say a place like Gibraltar, which you grew up in Michigan. I'm pretty sure you know about the Gibraltar Trade Center.
Yes,
You can go into the Gibraltar Trade Center and buy guns and not present IDs, right? Um
I know
it's
that.
very yeah, everybody in Michigan knows that, right? So you can go and buy, especially non-pistols, because with pistols you have to register the pistol within 10 days with the county that you live in, right? So the
Okay.
closest police station. But if you're
Mhm.
buying an AR-15, AK-47, up until recently the Uzi was considered um a rifle, but now it's considered a handgun. So you can even carry those like out and about.
What?
Yeah,
You are kidding me.
no, yeah, Uzi is considered a handgun now in Michigan. It's no joke. So it's a
I
lot of different laws.
I need to do my research, but then again, I'm like, do I care enough? But I really should care because I could be standing next to somebody in the grocery store and they got a Uzi.
Yeah, he would be completely within his right to have a Uzi because it's a legal firearm to own.
What do you
Um,
think about this right here?
the idea is slippery slope for teachers who are openly racist. They would be itching to pull the trigger.
In a heartbeat, because they be threatened so quick. They're like, "Oh, I think my life was in danger." Like if a student raises his voice, I just felt like he could just attack me, so I just shot. Like,
I'm not sure if I get that point. I have no argument against it. But let's say if I was a teacher, I
Mhm.
don't think that someone should tell me, yeah, because Billy might kill a black student, you can't protect your life. I think that's somewhat just irresponsible, and it gives a lot of leeway to those same races. Like allow those people. If it was me again, just me, yeah, I'm gonna
Mhm.
put the gun in his hand and see what he do. If he does what that shooter did, then we expose him. But I don't think
You
that
like the chances, okay?
it's not that I'm taking chances, but I mean, chances going to be taken every single day. With apparently with these teachers showing up just to do their job to teach children, try to further our societies, and then stuff like this happens. So like you taking chances naturally. The way I was raised in Michigan is it's better to be caught with it than without it. It's better to you don't want to be carried by six at the end of the day. You don't want to.
Yeah, so I definitely understand that sentiment, and I'm like, I'm here for it. But there's this idea of like, okay, if America was on a level playing field, right, where we weren't treated differently because we were a different color, or I would feel more comfortable carrying, honestly, because all it takes is one person to walk by and feel threatened, and you got something on you, and they'll be like, they wouldn't know that you had anything on you, but once they call the cops on you because they felt threatened, and the cops check you, and then they're standing there watching, and the cops like, do you have a weapon on you? Yeah. Then they go back and ask the person, she'd be like, well, they waved a weapon. And it's like, no, I didn't. It was at my hip the whole time. They're not going to believe me. So I just think having it kind of puts you in a predicament. And I'm sure it happens one in every 1,000 encounter or whatever. It doesn't happen every day, but the simple fact is it happens. And I just fear that somebody can be in the wrong place at the wrong time and they're implicated for something that they didn't do, all because they have something on them for the sake of gotta have it just in case. Like I just fear for that for my people. You know what I mean?
No, I definitely understand what you mean, and I can understand your fear to a certain degree. Just to a certain degree, I have to be honest. So for me, it's not just about it's all about protection.
Mm-hmm.
we can't defend ourselves. We can't protect anybody without the right means to protect each other. Um, the reason why they want more policemen in there is not just because they want more men in there. They want more men with guns, men with the appropriate means, whether it's tasers, whatever it is, to protect people, and with the proper training. Right. So I just think that we need more citizens with the proper training and the proper armory to protect themselves.
Ooh,
Um,
let's talk about it. This is good because that's bad.
You know, my father used to, like, if he was here, he would say that you should have basically what we call the $1,500 thing. With $1,500, you can get a handgun, you can get a shotgun, you can get a rifle. The shotgun and the rifle, from my understanding, you're not in the state of Michigan anymore, so I'm not sure how the laws are where you are.
Mhm.
But in Michigan, handguns, like I said, you got to register those with the police station within 14 days, et cetera, et cetera. But the shotguns and the rifles, whichever rifle you choose to purchase, you don't have to basically register those with anybody. You can buy as many as you like. You can buy armor piercing rounds. You can buy hollow tips. You can buy regular standard rounds. I do this often. I go hunting often. There's a lot of state land in Michigan, so they call it. So it's bare land where you can hunt and stuff like that. So I think that weapons are really not the problem here. I think it's irresponsibility. It's people like that young man who had a lot of rage and nobody to stop him. If it was somebody, I'm not saying like me or but any noble, honorable gun owner that was in between him and those people, where he had to fight to get to those people, I just always think that those people would turn around. But it's never a fight. It's they walk straight in and they got free targets, free kills, and it happens every single time. I just wish somebody was there to confront them before that.
Yeah.
That's all.
I want to answer this question real quick, Lauren. Are you afraid that you have to take out white people to save yourself? I'm confused. No, not at all. What kind of question is that? That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about. I'm just talking about being in the wrong place at the wrong time and being as a black woman or a black man being accused of something that you didn't do, all because there's this perceived threat that white people feel sometimes. So, anywho. You brought up something like citizen's arrest or the responsibility of a citizen, right? And I think I'm with that to a certain extent when we think about people that are actually in their right minds or actually like assess before they shoot or they assess the situation before they act or react. And prime example was the Ahmaud Arbery case, right? Their whole defense was citizen's arrest. We were just trying to make a citizen's arrest. And I'm like, okay. If we're going to go with this whole citizen's arrest thing, let's have like optional community meetings about how to appropriately do citizen's arrest. If someone wants to be a vigilante or be this community hero or neighborhood hero and be like, hey, I'm retired, but I want to do neighborhood patrol. Okay, well, neighborhood your patrol ass to a community meeting and sit there and get trained. Okay, like I just don't feel like people should like wake up one day and be like, I'm gonna just be on neighborhood watching. If I see something happen, I'm gonna go investigate. It's cool because, like I said at the beginning, I'm nosy in the mug. I am the type to see a cop flying down the street or a fire truck flying down the street, and I'm like this close to like following them to see where they're going. Like I'm that kind of person. Okay, so like I get it, but I don't think there's more. I don't think there are a lot of people in America that have a like sound mind to actually do it effectively.
I agree, and I'm looking at the Ahmaud Arbery. I'm looking at his autopsy report, basically, in so many words. He was gunned down. That was the reason why their citizens' arrest turned to something that was different because
we knew it was lying anyway. You're right, but that they use that as an excuse just means to me that just like people was using the whole what excuse did George Zimmerman use?
It was basically the same thing.
Yeah, so like that's all I'm saying is like if we're gonna use this as a means to justify why we do something, like
in Florida, the law down there was called the Stand Your Ground law that was put into place by the ACLS basically, and all of those people down there. But that was the reason why he was able to win, specifically because of the stand your ground law, which like that's not everywhere. I think they have it like in 19 of the 50 states here. Michigan not being one of them. I don't believe. We have that law in Michigan.
Well, hey, it might it might come. It might come depending on which way the pendulum is going to swing in terms of this conversation that's going to happen.
Let me ask you this though. In all honesty, do you think that this young man would have walked into the building if every day he saw everybody was strapped in there? If he knew, like, yeah, if I come in, yeah, he would never did that. It's easy to, when you walk into a place and it's a whole bunch of easy pickings, it's too easy if you're already in the mentality that you're about to hurt somebody. That if again, anybody who's ever fired a firearm hunting, they know this. Once you take the shot can't come back. The bullets don't, rescind. So once you shoot, and it's over after that. Whatever happens, happens. I think that the best thing for people to do, in my opinion, is we need citizens, not just law enforcement, like actual citizens, to really stand up. Because this reminds me of if you know anybody, you're in California, correct? You talk to enough people out there about the Black Panthers, and like they would tell you that like at one point in time they were so armed and in the community that the police were afraid of them, and the people they felt safer. They felt safer because of their presence and because they were armed and following police around and doing those different things.
Right. Now that I agree with. So I want to make sure I make it clear, like in terms of like you being out in the world, absolutely protect yourself, guard yourself, arm yourself. I think my hesitation is around schools because I do work in education, and it's supposed to be a place of learning. I don't know how anybody can learn constantly looking over their shoulder as to whether or not somebody's going to have a mental breakdown or relapse or have whatever issue that would make them want to shoot randomly. Because like you said, like you don't know how someone's going to react. You can only hope. And if it does happen, make sure you're ready. But if you're in a learning stance and something transpires, I just, you know, I just don't think that's a good environment for students to learn in. So outside of this, that's why I was a huge proponent of let's have metal detectors in schools so that at least when you come to this place, it's safe, you can learn, and when you walk out the building, you can have whatever you want to have on your hip. But like for schools, like let's regulate that. If y'all don't want to regulate nothing else, there needs to be a safe space, because obviously homes ain't safe no more. I don't know if you heard the news, like people are breaking into homes now, stealing stuff, killing people, robbery. Your house is not safe no more. So I get it. Definitely arm yourself, but for a school, I don't know.
Well, with the schools, what I would propose if I was someone who worked in administration, the guns can be there without anybody knowing that they're there. You can be the gun can be completely concealed. And as far as keeping them within teachers' reach, but keeping them away from, let's say, the classroom presence, you can have a small armory that only teachers have like access to. That's how the police have it. I mean, when you go in the police station, you can't just go into the armory and take out guns. You have to have access to it. So I think it's like in that same type of infrastructure type system that the police used, I think the school systems maybe should think about that. Like, yes, it might not be best to have guns directly, let's say, on a teacher's hip, but in a place in the classroom where the teacher can reach it to defend his or herself and the students in the time of need, but not in a place where it's always visible, like how the flag be when you first walk in the classroom. Like you're not gonna have the gun up there just chilling, but it's somewhere like in a small compartment where
just like
the person can access it.
The thing was it the AED or whatever you use to like revive somebody when they have a heart attack. It's just like place you have to have it in the building in case someone needs to be revived from cardiac arrest or something like that. Like there are certain things that need to be in a building or in the environment, based on whatever regulation or policy. I want to make it clear. I saw some like comments about white people come in. Like, this is not a black and white thing. I'm having this conversation like a humanity thing of just like right and wrong, like morally speaking. Because I don't own guns, I'm not out here to say guns need to be banned. Like, this is not the platform that I'm doing this. Okay, I just want to have a conversation about what transpired in Michigan. So what's up to everybody who just got here? Make sure you hit that like button. We're just talking about the what was his name again? Ethan Crumbly. He's 15. He's charged with killing 4 students. At first it was 3, but one other person died this morning, and injuring 7 others. And he has been charged this morning as an adult with murder, terrorism, assault and weapons, and possession charges. And apparently there's been talks about considering charges against both parents, but that has not been confirmed.
He was also denied bond by Judge Nancy Carniak as well.
Yes.
He was denied bond, so he's going to be sitting until trial.
Which, as he should, and they better not give him no book, because did you hear that they are banning books from? Let me tell you, because my jaw was dropped. They are banning books from the Iowa Department of Corrections issues a ban on charities, family members, and other outside parties donating books to prisoners. Used books are prohibited altogether, and any new reading material is subject to a laundry list of restrictions.
To be honest, Lauren, that's not a surprise to me. From my experiences with the systems,
this is good. I need to hear your take.
You know, because I'm trying to like say it from a non-personal standpoint, but I'm just gonna fucking say it, whatever. When I was incarcerated, it was in the middle of a school semester at Central Michigan. So I just simply asked, can like my school books and a number of other different things be sent to me? And it was no way possible. I can get anything. I can get a Bible for sure. I can get a lot of other different stuff, but no, they stopped letting people get degrees in jail as well. You can't earn a bachelor's degree or a high school diploma like you used to.
This is sick. This is so sick.
Yeah. It's a jail is, you know, it's crazy. I'm actually doing a jail video. It's crazy we're talking about this, but I'm doing an incarceration video about the 13th Amendment and Michelle Alexander and et cetera, et cetera. And her book, The New Jim Crow, very good book. If you haven't read it, I'm pretty sure you would love that book.
Yeah, I've read pieces of it. I haven't read the whole thing. My mom has it. It's a staple in the Black home.
It is.
But yo, like that's crazy. But I mean, I think I'm just, I guess, too compassionate. Like, I guess I'm too soft, because I just feel like, how are people supposed to like re-enter into society if they don't have the tools that they need? Like, obviously, yes, they're in there because they did something horrendous sometimes if you're not wrongly convicted. But this is what's wrong. It's like, that's how the cycle continues to repeat itself, because you put somebody out of a system, put them back in it, but then life has changed and now they got to go back to their old ways. I just feel like it's a never-ending cycle.
You mean like the repercussions this young man is facing?
Well, not this one, just in general, but this one, I mean, I don't think he should see the light of day. I'm sorry if he would. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually can. Baby boy is 15. He is technically a minor, but when you do adult things, like when you do grown-up things, like you should face grown-up consequences. Like, I think that was really instilled in me as a kid. Like, you want to be grown, you gonna face grown, you know.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. I think that I think people who commit this specific crime, that, I mean, of course, there's always the mental illness part that we have to be compassionate. But let's say after all of our compassions have been given, and we figure out that this person was deliberate in their actions, I feel like the firing squad would be no less. Like, I think that'd be justice. And the reason why I say the firing squad too is because I think that I'm the type of person, I love making examples out of people. because it lets the next person know, well, before I do this, maybe I shouldn't because I'm going to be treated the same way. And a person who takes life like this for no reason at all, I think that um it's always an oxymoron, right? It's always this it's crazy when they want to take a life but they don't want their life taken. I just find that interesting. And
Mhm.
so I just feel like if I was in charge, the firing squad, electric chair, whatever it is, but the firing squad to me would be real justice. Like have like the mother or father or whoever is willing to pull the trigger and do it, because nowadays I just feel like it's very it's I would use the word impunitive. It's very impunitive to the American people to have to pay for this man's meals
Okay,
every day.
I'm with you. I feel you. I That is one thing we can agree on. Absolutely, is if you take a life, you got to give yours.
Yeah, that should be a given almost.
Eye for an eye.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yep.
and then we can pray for his soul and hope his soul go in the right direction, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yes. Yes. I think I while my mom worked she's a nurse, but she worked on like a mental health at a mental health hospital in Michigan in Detroit before it closed, because they did close like majority of the mental health hospitals down, which is
Was that Herman Kiefer?
yeah. Mhm. So like so because that happens, like I understand and I have empathy and all of that, but I think what kind of pisses me off is people abuse the label of mental health, right? They go in and abuse it, and there's people out here that are actually suffering, and you use that as an excuse when ain't nothing wrong with you. Like there's nothing wrong with you. You just you probably had a jacked up childhood, and you want to blame somebody or be pissed off, and so you do some stuff to get some attention. Like in some cases, that does not happen all the time. So all the people that's going to be in the chat and be like, that is not, relax, okay, it was just an example. But people abuse that excuse way too much for me to be like, for it to be able to be used in the court of law.
um, I agree. Unfortunately, the law doesn't care, and medical researchers, they don't care neither.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's always going to be the same way.
Mm-hmm.
It's always going to be the same way. They're always going to sympathize with those who do declare themselves to have forms of mental illnesses. And I've dealt with people like that too. People who were violent, people who were not violent, women and men. So that is that's a long thread to really pull on, the mental health one, and it's a touchy thread too. You have to really know what you're doing before you would like go at those people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I will always actually give those people the benefit of the doubt. If this guy said, you know what, I was suffering from schizophrenia or something like that, I might give him the benefit of the doubt. The problem is, let me slow down too. The problem is when you hurt people, it doesn't really matter what kind of mental illness you're suffering from. The crime is still the crime. You kind of still have to pay the price. Now he might do time in a psychiatric hospital,
Mm-hmm.
which is more than likely where he's going to be at, because he's probably a danger to other inmates as well. Inmates who's not as dangerous as he is.
Exactly.
But again, I just feel like it's very impunitive to have somebody like you and I have to pay for that, and well, you especially is a citizen who's never committed a crime, nothing like that, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And so I just feel like it's very, like, when stuff like this happens, it's just messed up, because as black people, we know where it's going. We know that he's probably gonna get off,
Mm-hmm.
right? Gun law is not gonna change. It's gonna happen again. Then this happened a few years ago, like a bald head Mexican girl survived down in
Um,
Florida. It was called like
and
Park something.
Parkland. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Parkland. Yeah, yep.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, this happens every few years. It's like they never learn. To me, the solution is more security. You got all this security like in the black neighborhood. Take some of those officers out, put them in the schools. You station those officers in the schools. Um, that's just what I believe you guys should do. Or
Yeah, they had
even
him in the school. They said that the one officer that they had in the building was the first on the scene. And that was the one who put one of the kids who got shot. The ambulance didn't get there quick enough. So because that cop was there, the cop put him in the back of his car to take him to the hospital, and he died in the car. So the cop was there. But it didn't necessarily prevent it from happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was about to say, I think that also if they don't want to hire officers because there might be a lack of officers, whatever that means, hire people who are willing from the community. Because with the unemployment rate being the way it is,
Okay.
yeah, a lot of kids did die in Parkland. Yeah, but they should set a fund aside. Set a fund aside to pay people from each community to come in and protect their own community. If you have a legal firearm, we will pay you whatever amount of dollars. It can't be that much. I mean, come on. And then allow these people to literally risk their lives in that situation, protecting literally their own kids. And if that don't work out, then we just know we got a gun problem, like really, really bad gun problem.
Well, what do you say about America being the only country that deals with this issue? That has been like that's been a headline. Like America's the only one that deals with school shootings, which goes back to my point of like right, like put some regulations on guns in school. At least for that. You don't have to regulate everything else, but at least for school. Because other countries, they out here learning. They out here doing what they need to do, but we out here making headlines. It's bad enough they're laughing at our president, okay? But now they're now they're laughing because we can't get it together in school.
Normally, I would blame this on diversity, but that was pretty much an all-white school, if you really want to be honest.
It always is, though.
It always is. You know, I don't know. I don't know how to answer the whole thing. I mean, obviously, because I'm familiar with your argument, I'm familiar with that argument specifically. I know that people on that side would present the fact that like America, the average per gun ownership is like double the next country or whatever. So yes, there's a lot of guns here, and there's a lot of people that like guns here. I mean, I'm on the opposite side. I like guns. I like stuff like this. So not like this. I like just guns and
Right.
shooting and hunting.
Well, he not finna be killing kids, okay?
No,
Unless
absolutely not.
correct, then he gonna have to get them together.
I just believe that like what we should do is armor our schools up, like genuinely put more people, not just in the actual schools. I just wish before he can step foot to the front door, there should have been 5 or 10 people who he had to knock down first, who was going to shoot back at him, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, here's the story: is he went to the bathroom, took it out of his bag, and came out the bathroom and started shooting. So it's like, to your point, it was concealed. It was not. He wasn't walking in the building. What up, y'all? That's what I'm bringing today. Show like no. It was just like a regular day, obviously, because his parents was there earlier, and go to the bathroom and was like, "It's time," and like took it out and was like, "It's go time," kind of thing.
I mean, it's like the mind of a hunter. Like you don't go in the forest and be like, "Hey guys, hey." I mean, you're gonna scare everything away. You go and you be quiet. You play it very, very, very chill, and then you go when you go. That's the mentality of when you're about to kill something.
So that's why I think I struggle with that, because like there was also a case, was it in Oak Park that year? You might know, where the girl like slashed and like cut this girl, like just out of nowhere. Like they was sitting there and she got up and just went ham. Like,
I haven't heard about that.
oh God, I'm gonna have to send you the article. This happened a couple years ago, and it was in the hood. Not I want to say hood, but it was in a Black community, and so that happened. So I'm just saying, like, gun or not, people are liable to like react or act randomly without warning, and that's very scary to me. Again, in the school building, like,
let me ask you this: if it wasn't guns, if this was more like if this was the 1900s or something, and everyone had swords, if he had a massive knife and he ran through, and if it was a massive stabbing, it would have been the same thing, but we would never ban silver and metal, right? Like,
difference is though, back then most everyone was properly trained to, like, that was the main mode of protection. Like, you look at the movies, like people was like ready, like walk in the room, they like, ha, you know what I mean? Like they were ready. People were trained. Like, if that is a common understanding of like, this is how we fight. Nowadays, in people's minds, some people be like, I fight with my hands, or I fight with my words, or I fight with guns, or I fight with handheld objects. Like, it's too many different interpretations of how someone fights versus back in the day. Yeah, you probably did fight with a sword, or you probably like, but it was a common understanding. Now, because it's so diverse, there's so many people in America that think different, and that's the beauty of America, right? Is that we can all live in a world where we can operate the way we want. That is also our downfall. While it's something that we praise and we embrace, it's also our downfall. And that's one of the reasons why we're not on the same playing field in some, for some, subjects or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think this kid had a mental illness. I think that he woke up that day and he decided to kill something. I thought that comment was funny too.
Yeah.
It was very funny, very funny. But yeah, I think this young man woke up.
He probably got bullied. Somebody probably called him Jeffrey Dahmer.
No, I don't take that as, Jeffrey Dahmer. That's funny. It made history, but for the wrong reasons, obviously. But at the end of the day, all these young men like Jeffrey Dahmer, I don't think none of those men had issues mentally. They all decided to do what they wanted to do, and I just feel like that community, like, for example, if I was to ask you, how does the Asian community protect themselves, like historically and traditionally, you would say, I would hope you would say something like jujitsu or kung fu or something like that. Like, they have been trained their entire lives to use these different methods. People would say to protect themselves, but really to harm whoever they need to harm, right? In my opinion, white Americans, that's how they use guns. Like, they teach their children how to use guns at a very young age. One example I would make. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, do you know where that's rooted? Like, it all slavery. When the slaves tried to run free, what did they have? Guns. You shoot at them, right? Like, this is it's not stemming from out of nowhere. Of course, historically in their lineage, like, the use of guns is, and first and foremost, YouTube, you don't have to be here. This is not an interview. This is a conversation. And if you would like to cam up and join the conversation, you're more than welcome. But there's no sides. This is YouTube, my friend. So I really appreciate this comment. But you can exit stage left if this is not what you want. Thanks.
YouTube, I apologize if you felt disrespected about my YouTube history.
Like, we're having a conversation, not even about
the dirty pastor.
Okay.
Right. No,
well, right,
I'm not in the mood to talk about those guys anyway. This is something that's actually very serious.
We're here to talk about the lives that were lost, and so relax. Thanks.
Yeah, like I said, to hear about young people like losing their lives, and I could never imagine my daughter not coming back home to me. At that point, anybody who know me at any point in my life, if that ever happens to me, know that I'm on a complete blood path. At that point, it's just going to be a real dark part of like American history until I'm gone. Because parents who lived through that, I would be interested in talking to those parents actually, because I can only imagine what they're going through. I can only imagine what they're going through. I'm doing another video about Heyman Lee, who died in 1999. She was I don't know who she was murdered by, but the person who's in jail for her murder is a young man named Adnan Saeed.
Yeah.
And you know about that case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, like I said, students die all the time, and the families on both sides, in Adnan's case especially, they always suffer. So I'm always interested in what's going on with the families on both sides. How does the family of the young man who went in there and decided that he wanted to take those lives, how are they coping today, as well as the family of the victims?
Yeah, I think this is a really good place to pause and just, moment of silence and much prayers to the families that lost their children. The youngest that died was 14. and I think the oldest was 17, a football star. Like he was about to be a star D1 player. He was a senior.
Mhm.
And so I think, yes, people die every day, but this impact that just recently happened hits harder because these were kids. And I know for a fact, like Parkland shooting, they were probably even younger, I think, if I can recall.
Yeah.
Um, but someone in the chat said 2022 about to hit different, like it's gonna be another level. And you're right. Like each year, I think it's like it increases a level of like awareness of like what you have to look out for. It's crazy, and it is sad that they not only the football player but just the other kids did not get to live life to the
To the
fullest.
fullest potential. That is correct.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I think that is the worst part about all of it. But I think because we do live in a country where anyone can get guns, anyone. We got to think. I was on a show yesterday, and they was talking about, well, children are never in the streets. I just disagreed, and I emphasized that by saying, and shout out to On the Block with Jen because we was on her show. But um, I emphasized that Pop Smoke was killed by a 15-year-old boy.
Crazy.
It happens all the time. It happens all the time. That's why, between the church and the middle class, young black boys especially have been failed in one way or another.
Mhm.
And even though I bring these men up way too much, I'm gonna do it again. The reason why men, young men especially, they gravitate towards people like Demetrius and Terry is
Mhm.
because the middle class and the church, they always fail black boys. I know this young man wasn't black, but I'm just saying, in the presence of getting people away from guns,
Mhm.
you have to be able to really put something else in their hands to help them survive and eat and take to their family. And I think that the middle class and the church and the government do a poor job of that. In the streets, they don't. Um,
Where
that's in my opinion.
Okay, you mentioned church and the government. Where do you feel the family's responsibilities lie in that?
I think the church, if the church, so this kid wasn't black, so I'm just diverting this to the black
Yeah.
community now.
Hmm.
If the black community really wanted to take more guns out of young black people's hands,
They would.
we need to have more fathers in the home, no matter what it takes. So that if his father's sacrificing, if his mother's sacrificing, no matter what it takes, the father's got to be there. But ultimately, we need like real leadership. So if people don't feel protected, and I talked about this, I think TJ was there that day on Conversations with King. But it makes no sense for me to come to you and say, hey, Lauren, let's build a new Black Wall Street. Everybody can be rich. Only if 10 years later into building it, some people can come and bomb it and we have no way of protecting ourselves. What's the point of you investing? It's that's just so stupid. Um, so for me, I think the family aspect is you can't really have a family unless it's the man, the wife, the child. The man has roles, the wife has roles.
Hmm.
In my job, Lauren, I say at Central Michigan, I used to always get hate from black men about this. I said that black men, we have proven our inability to protect, provide, and commit to black women. Just those three simple things: protect, provide, and commit. With those three things, I think we can have a stable community. But if you don't protect and you can't provide, you got to ask your wife for $20, right? And
It happens.
it shouldn't, but and then you can't commit either, then it's gonna be like a slippery slope like we talked about earlier. And as
Hmm.
far as the government, I think we all know that black people don't take voting seriously on the federal level, local level. They just don't. Even Michelle Obama talked about this recently after her husband vacated from office. It was the lowest in like vote in history for black people, which is crazy because
Hmm.
you would think that we would keep that momentum going. We got Obama in office. We basically got Biden in office. Kind of backfired so far. Um,
They did you hear they said he was the worst president? Like they're like just in. I'm like, okay.
yeah, we need Obama back. We really need Obama to do a third term. No cap, no cap. But I think Obama did something that no other president did when he stopped the terrorist programs that we had going on.
Hmm.
That's kind of like we need a president that's going to do the right thing. I think the right thing to do right now is to arm every school with more guns to protect students. There's no other
Okay,
solution.
so that comment I can stand behind. And when you say arm the schools, meaning that they will be in the hands of people that are trusted and responsible and have training. What I don't want is the free for all. Everybody bring what you want. Like, no, because then at that point, I'm homeschooling all my kids because I don't trust none of you motherfuckers. Like, period. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. I don't trust nobody. And no, I am not in Minnesota. What? Where y'all be getting your information from? I'm about to stop telling people where I'm from because then people be feeling like they want to do a Google search. No.
You got to be careful. Always got to be careful out here.
Look, I already got the tea. People already tried to search me and tried to dig up some stuff. Relax, y'all.
But yeah, I definitely think I think you're right about that. You know, some of the things about going to free for all that might be messy, especially in places where students and teachers have racial tension, right?
They be looking for a reason. Ooh,
Dying for a reason.
looking.
But growing up in Detroit schools, I took guns to school all the time. All the time.
I know it was just a question, Space Hopper 45, but I have to put it out there because you are. I don't know if you was on here, but people try to. They be coming for me, so I am very sweet, but I also know how to defend myself. So just had to put it out there. But anyways, that was for this.
But the reason why we took guns to school is because we knew it was no form of protection. It's like if it was whether somebody was coming to the school to fight, if it was whatever, it was us versus everything. And you can't play with your life. The best thing to do is stay protected. That's my advice for everybody. Everybody who's watching. That's all.
Thanks for first timer Space Hopper 45. Let me apologize publicly for going off on you. I'm not in Minnesota though, honey. But
it's a cold state.
Yeah.
Very cold.
I'm in a hot state. That made me nervous, Lauren. What? I don't know what you're talking about.
I think you're talking about the person asking about where you were staying at.
Oh, yeah. When people start to wonder, like, where are you from? What you do? I'll be like, what you trying to do? Like I said, I don't trust too many people now. Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm gonna get out here, but I'm gonna say this before I get out of here. We want to see you on Conversations with Queen or Conversations with King sometime soon. We'll let us see you there, you and Lucky.
Okay. I'm open. Do you want to answer this question real quick? I think this was a clarifying question for you.
What do you mean by more guns in school? Are you saying more cops or teachers having guns? I think we kind of discussed that, me and Lauren, earlier. So, but to clarify for you, the one, I think there shouldn't be teachers that just have them on their hips and just dangling, right? But so let's say there's a safe cabinet in every classroom. There's a safe cabinet, whatever kind of form of accessibility, a key, a fingerprint, whatever, a fob like the ones you just beep 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 and you get into your apartment, whatever. But only the trained staff have access to it, and it's accessible to the point where if a scenario happened where an armed shooter walked through the doors or pull out a gun in a bathroom, the teacher can access it, close the door, and be able to defend themselves against anything that come through those doors until the authorities arrive, right? But when you have teachers in a situation where there's somebody out there, whether it's a small firearm, I'm not even sure what this young man used. If it was a pistol, AR-15, whatever. If you don't have nothing on that end, more than likely you're going to be in a very bad situation. And if it's a knife, I mean, okay, I can't really hurt you unless I'm close to you. But with my pistol, I can shoot you 50 yards away. I can shoot you as well as I aim. Or if I come with 15 clips in my book bag, I don't have to aim, do I? I can just pop, 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 and just do whatever I want to do. But I just think that when these gunmen have no adversity, that's the first problem. There's no adversity between them and the victims. But that's why I believe there should be a little small gun chest somewhere in the building or in the classrooms when people can have access to them.
Hope that answers your question. The one. It's a lot of new people joining. Hello, everybody. You said you had to go. You about to record more videos.
I'm about to record more videos, but I'm actually about to do a conversation with King right now, and then I'm gonna
Okay.
do some other shows later. But it was a pleasure talking to you, Lady
Thanks for
Lauren.
joining. All right. See ya.
Peace.
If y'all just tuning in, I just got on here randomly. Y'all know I don't be on live during the day like this. But some developments came out about the Oxford High School shooting that happened yesterday. And so I was giving y'all the updates, and we got into a conversation about weapons in schools, and he decided to call in. So if you yourself would like to call in, go ahead. Please be respectful. Over the top, WME, what's up, Colette? She said maybe have bulletproof doors for the classroom. I do know of some schools that do have bulletproof glass and stuff, and the way the door locks from the inside. Yeah. Thank you for the super chat. What else are y'all saying? Sherelle saying what's going on. So speaking of the manosphere, oh, hey, on the block with Jen. Thanks, girl. Look, I was cracking on myself earlier today about my hair. I will put it out there, but I don't need y'all laughing at me. I was laughing at myself. But super dope show yesterday, Jen. She was on Conversations with King yesterday. Speaking of O'Shea, if y'all are familiar with Courtney Michelle, she has been on his show. She's cool with him, and me and Courtney are like this, so we're cool. Sherelle, what's going on? Again, I was just popping on here to talk about the Oxford high school shooting, and just to give my perspectives and opinions on it, because there were some things that I saw that I was just like, that's interesting. Put your energy elsewhere. But before I proceed and say anything else, I want to again pause and acknowledge the families that did lose their children in this horrific situation. I don't have any kids. I'm not a mom, but I am a daughter. And I can only imagine what my mom would feel like if she dropped me off or dropped me off to school and I didn't return home that day. So yes, there was a school shooting that happened in Michigan, Oxford, Michigan, yesterday. To give you some context for the people that are just joining, the kid's name is Ethan Crumbly. He's 15 years old. He killed 4 people, 8 were injured. I think 1 is still in critical condition, or it was 2 in critical condition, but 1 died this morning. So yeah, when I went to bed last night, it was only 3 students that died. Woke up this morning, it was 4. They arrested him with no issues. He put his hands up, got him to the police station. He opted not to talk. Parents told him not to talk. The parents were not talking. They did get a warrant to go through his house and collect any evidence. They did collect more guns. What else? The prosecutor decided to charge him as an adult. They are charging him with murder, terrorism, assault, and weapons possession charges. What else do y'all need to know? Oh, yes, very key. There were speculations like the kids knew about it before and the police didn't do anything. Well, during the 2 press conferences that happened, the sheriff's office was like, well, we weren't aware of anything, but just came out this morning that the kids' parents were at the school on Monday, and then they were also at the school earlier in the day on Tuesday, yesterday. So the parents were at the school at around noon, and the shooting happened around 2. And apparently they were there to discuss behavioral issues, but nothing else was said about that, like what kind of behavior issues or anything like that. So, so that's what happened. And we were just having a conversation about it and just about the narrative. So when it all happened, it was not national news yesterday. It was very local. It didn't hit national news until maybe 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, close to 10 o'clock at night Eastern time is when it got to the news, right? So it took a couple hours for it to reach the national airwaves and news waves. I was going to say something else. Oh, so yesterday when it happened, I'm looking for articles. I'm looking for stuff. I did show a video of some students, or I showed a video earlier of students actually had footage of being in the classroom. They heard a knock on the door. It was the shooter posing as the cops and told them to open the door. And you see kids sprinting out the window. Thank you for the super chat, Mr. T. So they were, shooting out the, getting out the window, getting out of the classroom through the window. So I showed that. So I'm going through TikToks, I'm going through tweets to try to figure out if the students were saying something. And I came across this TikTok of a student who was, giving accolades to the school, like the schools did everything right. And I need people to stop saying we need metal detectors. And I'm like, well, clearly y'all do need metal detectors. Like, let's not make a thing. You know what I'm saying? The metal detectors can save lives. I mean, obviously there's negative connotations, like suburban schools don't want metal detectors, but metal detectors are also in urban area schools. Okay, like let's be clear, it happens. We don't like it, but it is a protective, preventative measure for anything like guns to enter into the learning space. So I saw that, and then before the news about the shooter came out, they were like, well, maybe this kid was bullied, or maybe he has mental illness. Well, let's pump the brakes a little. And y'all giving this little kid or this man, before y'all knew how old he was, y'all are giving this person way too many excuses before y'all even find out what happened. So that's all I got right now. But I just wanted to hop on here and talk about it because it was a very interesting situation that happened. And I titled this video, I didn't think it would happen here, because that is what one of the that is one of the government officials said. I think she was a congresswoman from the county or from the area, got on the news and was just like, we hope that it wouldn't, come here, but it's here. And it's like, well, yeah, until there's preventative measures in place to protect places of learning, it's liable to happen anywhere. Homeschool seems to be a far safer choice. Well, listen. Thank you for camming up. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to see your video on Darrel. Can't wait to see your video on your reaction to it all. Shout out to you. But yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this thing up because I was not planning on being on here for over an hour. I just wanted to get on here and vent. But much love to the super chats and the support in the chat. If you haven't already, go ahead and like the video. But yeah, I just want to make it very clear. This video was not to talk about race relations, gun control. Like, no, I'm not getting into all of that. Okay. But I do want to bring awareness to like what's going on. So shout out to you, Sean. Thanks for stopping by. Go ahead and like the video if you're just getting here. Feel free to replay if you want. All right, I'm out of here, y'all. Bye.